everyone, so I have gained a helper, and in this video we are going to be going over how I smocked for the Winter Bishop kit. Of course though, if you just want some like up close pictures or footage of how I smock, this I hope is helpful. Hope you find it helpful. So before we get to smocking, I like to sew the bias band into place. To do this, I just fold the band, I leave about a good inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of extra band, so that way maybe we'll tuck the raw edge of the band under and then fold the band down on top of that. You know, your help is just, what is that? And then I hand stitch that down into place using the previous machine stitches to secure my to sew into. So I will take my needle I'm doing a lining in this case, so I'm hiding my tail between the lining and the fabric of my bishop. But if you're not having a lining, just put it into the placket and it will hide the tail of that thread, and you can just, I like to go through once, go through twice, and that makes a loop. Go through the loop twice, and that secures my thread down into place. And then I will go from the machine stitches to the top folded edge of the bias band, and I will skip the pieces of the bias band in between. I will just go to the folded edge of that bias band, and I will keep doing this. I will kind of go into every second or third machine stitch, and I will do that all the way around the bias band. And so now that we have the bias band down, we can get on to smocking. And the footage though on this, I kept changing my mind on the smocking design. The smocking plate, the final one, is on my website. You're able to download it. But the footage is not going to be like, the continuity is horrible, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to pull that out and do this instead, and pull this and do this instead. Anywho, the final design that I came to is that I started with, what can I help? Here you go. The final design is I started with the gray pearl cotton. If you bought in the Winter Bishop from me, you will have 3 spools of pearl cotton, and if you're going to be doing the same design, you'll start with the gray one. So the great thing about pearl cotton is that if you are somebody like, sometimes you just don't want to deal with the floss, right? The floss, the super common way of smocking is taking 3 strands of floss, and while it is beautiful, I'm not talking about the look of it, it can be a little bit cumbersome to smock with, because you got to keep those 3 strands flat together. If they've got twists in them, it's going to make your smocking look a hot mess in a hurry. So the great thing about pearl cotton is you use 1 strand of pearl cotton. It is not intended to be separated or anything like that, and you just smock. You don't have to worry about keeping multiple strands flat, because there's only 1 strand to deal with. So you take this gray, and I'm just doing a little wave stitch on the first row. Okay, it's a half row, and I'm just doing a wave stitch, which means, I'm doing a wave stitch, which means at the top of the wave you're doing a cable. Then you're going over to the other half row and you're doing another cable stitch. Can I help you? If at any point in your smocking you put the thread of your smocking to the wrong side and your needle is just like not in the position to do the next stitch, just send your needle through that previous stitch, and you'll flip-flop around and you'll be ready to go again. I hope that makes sense. So you just do the wave through this whole thing, and with any of your smocking stitches, you want to stay towards, you want to stay towards the top of that pleat. So you'll kind of be in like the top third, if you will, of the pleat. This will keep your stitches on the top side, which kind of makes them look a little bit prettier, but also allows the smocking to do its lovely elastic stretching thing. If you have your stitches too far down, then it's less stretching. Your fabric is less able to be stretched. Your fabric is less able to be stretched and will be less elasticy, okay? Can you please stop? Thank you. What else were we saying? So we do 1 row, or actually do 2 rows of that gray wave stitch, and you know the points of the waves are meeting up there. And then we like going, to design. Of course, it's sewing you to you. You can do whatever design you want to do, but this is the one that I did on this thing. And you can, then I went and I did 3 rows. Is that 3 rows? No, I did 2 rows of the wave. Same thing with the gray. I just did two of the light pink color. Now the 3rd row is a wave combined with a 3-step trellis. So it'll be like 1 wave, and then the trellis will go, it'll meet up with the previous wave. It's a 3 steps. That means that we've got 3, we've got my helper. We've got 3 steps going down. So you're going to go through 3 pleats. What I like to do to keep the pleats even is I go right before the next half row, and then the next one goes right below the next that half row, and then the last one goes down to where the bottom of this 3-step trellis will be, and then it's just a cable stitch over. What would make you happy? Ooh, would you like that? Does that make sense? I hope it does. And then to finish her off, I did a 5-step trellis, which again means that you've got 5 little like pleats, if you will, going between the 2 cable stitches of your trellis, the top and bottom. What about this? Ooh, isn't that so nice? And I did 1 row in the light pink, but you could do, I actually did 3 rows total. You could do all 3 in the darker pink. I think that would look pretty too. I did 1 row in the light pink, and then I did 2 rows in the dark pink. My helper. He's very persistent. Where were we? So we've gone 3 rows, and at the bottom of this, there is a little bit of space now where, you know, at the bottom, like these little things. Depending on the fabric that you're using, what can I do? Would you like this pen? Ooh, isn't that nice? Depending on your fabric, you may want to back smock here. I found this fabric, it's a kind of like a medium weight thing, and it didn't really need back smocking. How you know if it needs back smocking or not is your pleats will sort of start to come, like they'll sort of pop out in the most unattractive way, and the back smocking holds them in place. So if your pleats are kind of doing the popping out thing, or they're not like structurally sound, it doesn't, you can still save them after the fact of pulling out your pleating thread. That's no big deal, but you will just go on the back side and just do like a row of cable stitches or whatever, loosely done with some, I like to use some DMC 50 weight thread. Daisy, this video is turning into a hot mess. And I will just do a loose cable stitch on the back, and it will secure everything down in place and keeping it nice and neat. Like I said, in this case, I didn't seem to need that, but if you need to back smock, by all means, go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong with back smocking. It keeps your work neat. This fabric just seems to be lucking out and not having it. Look at these markers. So, that's how I did the smocking on this bishop. I'm sorry this is such a hot mess. I hope it's still helpful. If you have any questions, of course, put them down in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them. And as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope to catch y'all next time.